Hey there, this is Dr. Ankur Prakash from Living Well Balanced. Today's video is going to be about one of the greatest measurements that we have now really documented over the last 10-15 years in this country. The measurement tool is called Heart Rate Variability. We're going to call that HRV for short. We've been using this great technology in our Raleigh office for several months now, and this video is really going to talk about its applicability, how we use it, how we measure it, and just how it helps you manage your lifestyle stress, how to manage your nutrition, your fitness, and more importantly, how old are you? It gives you a nice grading system that says, hey, when you started care in our office or when you walked into our office, you were this old, even though the calendar says you're this old. But what is it going to take to reverse that, lower your aging, de-age you, get you younger, get you feeling better, healing better? So stay tuned for this awesome video. Please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and definitely click the bell. That way you'll be notified when we get our new video out. Today's video is about some amazing technology that we have begun using earlier this year. It's called Heart Rate Variability. For those of you that are practice members of ours, you know that we have used this on your initial visit in our practice, and we have used this on anytime we've done your progress exams. This is the technology. It looks like these two calipers that go over your wrists. It gets connected to our hardware, our computer, and then there's great software reports. Here's the thing about heart rate variability. Prior to COVID, HRV has been around. There's been some technologies that have measured it on your wrist or even on your rings. Some technologies called it the readiness factor. Some people just call it your stress index. Overall, heart rate variability is just how many beats you have and how the speed goes either up or down. So for example, if you know that your heart rate is 60 beats per minute, it's never 1 beat per second. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. The more variability you have in your heart rate, the higher or the better you can handle stress. And I'm just dumbing it down here. I'm going to kind of explain a little bit more on the science, but people who have high HRV tend to have better internal resistance to stress. They tend to adapt to stressors better. They tend to age better. People who have lower HRVs tend to have over fatigue and burnout. They tend to have high anxiety, high stress levels, and their bodies just start to fall apart, and we become more into a disease state. So one of the great things about heart rate variability is that you can actually measure it. And literally all the research shows now that HRV levels can predict future ill health as well as the likelihood of sudden cardiac death. And as we grow older, HRV reduces naturally and will get worse with ill health and long-term stress. Low levels of HRV indicate that an individual is at risk of developing a serious illness or is aging prematurely. And this is my favorite. It shows that research shows that HRV levels can predict future ill health as well as the likelihood of sudden cardiac death. And the best part about all the research done in the United States, even during the pandemic, they talked about if we maintain our HRV at a high level, it benefits not just our health and performance, but it can enhance brain functions such as concentration, focus, memory, flexibility of response, intuitive insight, judgment, and decision making. And during the pandemic, if you did a lot of your own research and Googled everything during that time period, those who had high levels of vitamin D and high levels of HRV, your heart rate variability, were predicted to have a much better response to their exposure, their symptoms when exposed to COVID-19. So really, really cool stuff. We have been measuring heart rate variability in our practice here for a couple of months. I want to spend a little bit of time showing you how it's done. You'll see in this video here, this is our director of rehab. He's sitting having it done here. This takes roughly 3 to 5 minutes. You just kind of put your arms up and we leave you alone, and you don't need to necessarily meditate while you're doing it, but you just kind of want to clear your head, clear your thoughts, not be glued to your phone or your computer screen. There's a beautiful report that we give to every practice member in our office when we get the results. One of the great things about it is just it's got lots of good visuals and it's very easy to explain. So for example, on this screen, this shows us basically how balanced or unbalanced your autonomic nervous system is, right? So autonomic nervous system is basically your balance between parasympathetic, which is your rest and digest, your healing mode, and your sympathetic nervous system, which is your fight or flight and your disease mode, right? We want to make sure that we get you out of fight or flight and put you more back into a state of parasympathetic, into healing mode. And that's where the green and the yellow live. Now, if we have too much red, that's called your neurohumoral response. That means your central nervous system is starting to take over basic bodily functions. It's called fatigue. It's called burnout. All right. The next index that we look here is your stress index. This just tells us how hard your body is working to maintain balance and equilibrium. So for example, for this patient in August, he had a stress index of 188. It's hard to measure stress this calculates it. And in a month after coming to our office, his stress levels went down to a 79. Big change with him, big change in his healthcare. The next tab, very briefly, I want to show you, talks about neurohumoral regulation. This basically shows us if the brain is stressed, or if it's in a fatigue state, or if it's in a balanced state. And our goal is always to get the body and the brain back into balance so it knows how to self-regulate. And so on this patient, he had a 49, which is a very, very low score. And just after 4 weeks of care, he's now a 79. On the bottom images here, you see these blue and red bars. Some of them, he started off really small, then it got bigger. This is what we call your metabolism, or this shows us how your energy, your metabolic energy is being produced, whether it's through healthy nutrition or it's through an active, high intensity interval training, cardiovascular lifestyle. So when he first started, it was low, it was a 129. And just after a month of working with our fitness team and our nutritional team, it shot up to 247. Tons of more metabolic energy. The next two slides I want to show are what's called your psycho-emotional state index. This basically shows us again how well your brain is regulating your sleep patterns and how it's putting you in your 5 different brain waves. So the best way to describe this particular index here is just showing us, hey, when we are up and about in an office, we're alert, we're conscious, you want to have high levels of alpha and beta. When you are in getting healthy deep sleep and you're getting good recovery at night, you want to have good REM sleep, good delta brain waves. When this patient started, his delta and theta were high and his alpha and beta were somewhat low. As he progressed into care, his brain is now functioning better. He's getting better sleep. He has less delta and less theta when he's up and alert. That's a great way to show someone who is starting to sleep better as a result of taking better care of his lifestyle choices, and obviously receiving services in our office. So this is one of my favorite parts about this heart rate variability scan. It quantifies your age. A lot of people know that, 60 is the new 40, or they want to see like, oh, my body feels a lot older than I really am. Well, this technology actually measures that. So if you look at this patient, when he first started care, the calendar said he was 34 years old, but he was 5 years older, meaning his body, his physiology was working 5 years harder than it needed to be. And after 1 month of care, again, he's still 34 years old based off of the clock, but he's now 33 years young. So he's 1 year younger than his body age. And literally, if you look at the difference, we've de-aged him by 6 years. So this guy is super happy. His harmonization, his brain is so much more in balance. He did a lot of, just particularly about this patient, we did a lot of chiropractic, a lot of massage, a lot of rehab, a lot of fitness work, and then he just started working with the nutritionist. So we use this tool to really just measure how old your body is when you first start coming here, and what is it going to take to get you younger. So a lot of great stuff about this. You can actually go to our website and click the link. That'll take you to the company that made this software. It's a great pre and post measurement type of tool that we use in our office, and ultimately it's about really reducing the wear and tear that stress puts on our bodies. It's a great measurement tool to show that to patients. So thank you for watching this video. If you haven't had this done yet, please direct message us here or respond and click the link to schedule your progress exam or initial exam. This takes several minutes to do. Obviously, those of you that have been in our office, we do a lot of other measurements, but this is definitely something I would get measured. You can do it for kids, you can do it for senior citizens, you can do it all types of ages. It only takes a couple minutes to do. So again, thank you for watching, and share this video to anyone who you think may benefit from learning about heart rate variability. Thank you so much for watching our video. If you got a gem or two out of it, please make sure to like it and share it across your social media. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please make sure you do that, and definitely hit the bell so that way you get alerted every time we get a new video release. Speaking of videos, we got 2 great videos right here.